Commander Jiwon stood quietly in the observation deck of the Terran Embassy station, her hands resting on the cold metal railing as she watched the space beyond. It was early morning on the station, and the galaxy outside was beautiful in its vastness. Bright stars dotted the darkness, and she could see the massive ships of the Galaxy Council approaching from far away. These ships were massive and impressive, built with technology that humanity had only dreamed about for centuries. Ji-won was the lead diplomat for Earth, and today was supposed to be important. Today was the day that humanity would finally be accepted into the Galaxy Council. Or at least, that is what she had hoped. She had worked for 30 years to reach this moment, 30 years of study, negotiation, and endless meetings with alien species that seemed to find human beings less important than a single grain of sand. The Krell Dominion had always been the worst. Their leader, Counselor Vrak, looked at humans as though they were bugs to be stepped on. The Vex Collective was not much better. They called humans emotionally unstable and unpredictable. The Andromedans simply ignored Earth's requests as if humanity did not exist at all. Ji-won turned away from the window and walked toward the meeting chamber. Her footsteps echoed against the metal floor. She was dressed in formal clothes, a dark blue suit that represented Earth's best hopes. Her heart beat faster as she approached the big doors. Inside that room, the fate of humanity would be decided. The meeting chamber was enormous. The walls were smooth and white, and in the center of the room was a large, round table. Representatives from every major species in the galaxy were already sitting around it. Counselor Vrak was there, his large body covered in green scales that looked almost like armor. Next to him were 3 other aliens from the Krell Dominion, all of them with the same cold expression on their faces. The Vex Collective had sent a tall, thin creature named Zextar, whose body seemed to shimmer with an unnatural light. The Andromedans were represented by an older creature with blue skin and strange eyes that seemed to look at Ji-won without really seeing her. Dr. Min-soo, Earth's chief diplomat, was already at the table. He looked nervous. His hands shook slightly as he prepared his presentation. He had worked on this speech for weeks, carefully choosing every word. He wanted to show the galaxy that humans were intelligent, peaceful, and worthy of being part of the Council. We present to you today the case for Earth's full membership in the Galaxy Council, Dr. Min-soo began. His voice was steady now. Humanity has developed rapidly. We have created art, music, science, and philosophy that rivals any species in known space. We seek only to contribute to the peace and progress of all beings. We have much to offer. For 20 minutes, he spoke about humanity's achievements. He talked about human medicine, about the cures Earth's scientists had developed. He mentioned the mathematical discoveries that could help solve problems that had bothered alien scientists for generations. He spoke with passion about human art and culture. But as he was finishing, Counselor Vrak stood up. He was a massive creature, nearly 3 meters tall, and his movement made everyone in the room look at him. When he spoke, his voice was deep and echoed off the walls. "Humans," he said, as if he had tasted something bad. "Primitive. Yes, you have made small discoveries, but you are still children. You lack the maturity to sit among civilized species. Your emotional responses are too strong. You make decisions based on feeling, not reason. The Galaxy Council cannot accept a species that is so unstable." Before Dr. Min-soo could respond, the Vex representative Zextar spoke. "I agree with Counselor Vrak. We have observed human behavior. You fight each other. You destroy your own planet. You are not ready." One by one, the other representatives voted against Earth's admission. The older Andromedan with blue skin even shook his head slightly, as if Earth's request was not worthy of serious consideration at all. Then Vrak said something that changed everything. His expression became even colder, and his voice took on a tone of absolute authority. "In fact, we have decided something else. Earth is not ready for membership, but it has resources we need. We declare Earth a resource colony. All rare Earth elements, all agricultural products, all technology that humans have developed, these now belong to the Galaxy Council. You will provide them, and you will be grateful for our protection." The decision was unanimous. Not a single representative objected. The other species nodded in agreement, as if this was a reasonable decision, as if declaring an entire planet to be property was just another routine vote. Ji-Wan watched as Dr. Minsu's face went pale. The other human representatives in the room looked shocked. Some of them looked angry. But there was nothing they could do. In this room, in this moment, humanity had no power. The meeting ended quickly after that. The Galaxy Council representatives began to leave, speaking among themselves as if the destruction of human hopes meant nothing to them. Councillor Vrak actually looked pleased as he walked past the Earth representatives. He even smiled slightly, showing his sharp teeth. Ji-Wan stayed in the chamber for a long time after everyone else had left. She stood at the window and looked out at the stars again. But her face was different now. The hope that had been there before was gone. Instead, there was something else, something cold and hard. That evening, she recorded a message to Earth. She reported everything that had happened at the council meeting. She described the humiliation, the casual disrespect, the declaration that Earth was now a resource colony. She sent the message through the fastest quantum relay, knowing that President Da Jung would receive it in just a few hours. When Da Jung watched the recording in her office in Seoul, her expression changed slowly. She listened to every word. She saw the look of shame and disappointment in Ji-Wan's eyes. And somewhere deep inside the President of Earth, something shifted. The years of trying to be accepted, of being humble and peaceful, of hoping that if humans just proved themselves worthy, they would be treated with respect. All of that ended in that moment. Da Jung turned to look at the photographs on her wall. They showed Earth from space, the blue oceans, the green forests, the cities full of human beings who had worked so hard. And now, the Galaxy Council had declared all of it to be property to take as they wished. The President of Earth picked up her secure phone and made one call. "General Sujin," she said, "prepare Operation Merciless. Authorization Level 1. No more waiting, no more hoping. It is time to show the galaxy exactly what humanity can do." That single phone call would change the course of history. The age of human humiliation was about to end, but no one in the Galaxy Council knew it yet. The war room beneath Denver Mountain was hidden so deep inside the Earth that no satellite could ever find it. Captain Quan Ho walked through the metal corridors with his security detail, his boots making loud sounds against the floor. He was a tall man with a lean face and intelligent eyes that had seen things most humans never would. Quan Ho had spent the last 15 years building Earth's Space Force in secret, preparing for a day that few people believed would ever come. When he entered the main command center, the screens lit up automatically. Holographic displays filled the space, showing Earth from every angle, the moon, the orbital stations, and the vast emptiness of space beyond. This technology had come from reverse engineering 3 alien spacecraft that had crashed on Earth in the past 50 years. The governments of the world had kept these crashes secret, working together for the first time in history to extract and understand the advanced technology. Quan Ho was not alone in the room. Already present were the other members of Earth's military council. General Sujin was there, a woman in her 50s with gray hair and the bearing of someone who had spent her entire life preparing for this moment. Next to her was Admiral Park Jin, who controlled Earth's naval forces. Dr. Yunji, the brilliant quantum physicist who had been working on weapons technology for the past decade, sat in the corner reviewing data on her personal screen. "The Galaxy Council has made their move," Quan Ho said to the group. His voice was calm and steady. They have declared Earth a resource colony. All our resources are now theirs to take. President Da Jung has authorized Operation Merciless. We are now at war." The room fell silent for a moment. War was something humanity had learned to avoid. Conflicts on Earth still happened, but nothing like the global wars of the past. And this would be different. This would be war against aliens with technology far more advanced than anything Earth had publicly created. General Sujin nodded slowly. She had known this day might come. She had prepared her troops, trained them, and organized them into units that could operate in space as well as on the ground. But everyone in this room understood that this was not a normal war. They were not trying to conquer the galaxy. They were not trying to destroy all alien life. They were trying to send a message. "How long do we have?" Dr. Yunji asked. She was younger than the others, perhaps 35 years old, with sharp features and intelligence that seemed to glow from her eyes. 48 hours, Quan Ho replied. "President Da Jung wants Operation Merciless to begin in 48 hours. That gives us enough time to prepare, but not so much time that the Galaxy Council can figure out what we are planning." "Show me the status of all systems," Quan Ho commanded, and immediately the displays changed. They showed detailed information about Earth's secret weapons. There were the EMP platforms, electromagnetic pulse devices that could knock out electronic systems across an entire region of space. There were the gravitational weapons, devices that used technology no one in the galaxy had seen before, technology that could distort space itself and disable massive ships. And there were the cyber warfare programs, artificial intelligence systems that Dr. Yunji had created, systems that could enter enemy networks and cause complete chaos. The most advanced system was called the Silence Protocol. This was something that only 3 people in the world knew about: Quan Ho, General Sujin, and Dr. Yunji. The Silence Protocol was a weapon so powerful that if it was ever used, it could render an entire civilization blind and helpless for hours. It could shut down all technology, all communications, all weapons. And Earth had built it in secret while the galaxy was not looking. "The Silence Protocol is ready," Dr. Yunji said, reading Quan Ho's thoughts. "All systems are tested and operational. We can activate it within minutes of receiving the order. Once activated, it will spread across all Galaxy Council installations simultaneously. For 1 hour, they will have nothing. No weapons, no communications, nothing." Admiral Park Jin leaned forward in his chair. "What about Earth? Will the Silence Protocol affect us?" "No," Dr. Yunji answered. "The protocol is specifically designed to avoid human technology. Our systems are shielded. They will continue operating normally. Only alien technology will be affected." Quan Ho studied the displays, showing the positions of Galaxy Council military forces throughout the sector. They had ships at 17 different locations, each one a stronghold of alien military power. For 30 years, humanity had felt powerless in front of these forces. But now, with the technology they had developed in secret, the balance of power had shifted in ways the galaxy did not yet understand. "We will not attack to destroy," Quan Ho said firmly. He wanted to be absolutely clear about this. Operation Merciless is about sending a message, not about killing. When the Silence Protocol activates, it will disable all technology. No weapons will fire, but we will show them that we have power they did not know existed. General Sujin began organizing her forces. She sent encrypted messages to military bases around the world. Units began moving into position. Submarines slipped quietly into the oceans. Fighter jets were moved to hidden locations. Ground forces were ready to defend Earth if the Galaxy Council decided to attack in response. Everyone understood that what was about to happen might start a war that could affect the entire planet. Minister Hai Wan, the government minister in charge of economic affairs, was in a different location, preparing the second part of the plan. If the Galaxy Council tried to use military force against Earth, The economic response would cripple half the galaxy. Earth produced rare Earth elements that dozens of species depended on. Earth produced agricultural products, advanced computer components, and other materials that the entire galactic economy relied on. Minister Hai Wan was preparing to shut all of it down. As the hours passed, more and more people learned about Operation Merciless. Military leaders around the world were informed. Scientific institutions were given secret orders. The media was told to prepare for a major announcement. Slowly, quietly, the entire planet began to move toward a single moment in time. Dr. Yunji spent the night in her laboratory, running final checks on all the weapons systems. The silence protocol had been her life's work. She had spent 10 years developing the technology, working with teams of physicists and engineers to create something that should not be possible. And now, in just a few hours, it would be used. She thought about the galaxy and all the humiliations that Earth had suffered. She thought about the arrogance of Counselor Vrak and the cold disrespect of the other aliens. A small smile appeared on her face. In a few hours, all of that would change. The galaxy would learn that humans were not a species to be treated as property. Humans were not primitive children. Humans were a force to be reckoned with. At exactly 48 hours after President Da Jung's phone call, Quan Ho received a final confirmation. The order came through the secure military channel. It was time. Operation Merciless was authorized. The message was simple. Begin now. Quan Ho looked at the holographic displays one last time. He thought about all the preparation, all the secret work, all the years of waiting. In a few moments, the galaxy would be shocked by something it had never expected. Humanity, the species that the Galaxy Council had dismissed as primitive, was about to teach the universe a lesson it would never forget. Activate the silence protocol, Quan Ho said calmly into his communication device. All forces stand by for Operation Merciless. We are about to change history. The moon base was silent, except for the soft sound of computers working in the darkness. Commander Park Jin moved through the corridors of Lunar Base 1, checking every system twice. She was a small woman with quick movements and sharp attention to detail. She had been chosen to command this base specifically because she could see problems before they became disasters. The work here was absolutely critical to Operation Merciless, and she took that responsibility very seriously. Around her, dozens of defense platforms were being positioned above the lunar surface. These platforms looked like innocent research stations on the outside, but inside each one was a complex system of weapons that humanity had never before needed to use. These weapons did not kill. Instead, they would create fields of disruption, areas where enemy weapons could not function, where enemy ships could not navigate, where enemy communications could not reach out into the void. Park Jin watched as technicians moved from platform to platform, making final adjustments. Every platform had to be perfect. Every device had to be synchronized with all the others. If even one system failed, the entire plan could collapse. She had written detailed instructions for every step of the process. She had trained these technicians for months, showing them exactly what needed to be done and why it was so important. Status report, she said into her communication device. All platforms are now positioned, Commander, came the reply from her assistant. We are running final system checks. Estimated completion time is 2 hours. Good, Park Jin said. Nothing moves from this base until I give the final order. I want 3 independent verification checks on every system. If there is any doubt, report it immediately. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in secret submarine bases that no space agency had ever detected, Admiral Park Jin was overseeing a different kind of preparation. The submarines of Earth's naval force had been modified with quantum-based weapon systems. These weapons were designed to fire upward, into space, with accuracy that would have seemed impossible just a few years ago. Each submarine was a floating fortress, hidden in the depths where no satellite could see them. Admiral Park Jin was not related to Commander Park Jin on the moon, but they shared the same calm, methodical approach to their work. He stood in the command center of the main submarine base, watching displays that showed the positions of his vessels. They were spread throughout Earth's oceans, hidden in deep trenches and under ice, waiting for the signal that would activate them. "They do not know we have this capability," the Admiral said to his deputy. "The Galaxy Council believes we have nothing more than basic technology. They do not understand what 30 years of reverse engineering can create. When Operation Merciless begins, they will learn very quickly what a mistake they made." In hidden bunkers across every continent, military units were preparing for scenarios that conventional armies had never trained for. In the Amazon rainforest, in the mountains of Tibet, in the deserts of Africa, soldiers were being moved into position. General Su Jin had organized them into special tactical units trained for orbital defense and rapid deployment. If the Galaxy Council responded to Operation Merciless with military force, these units would be ready to strike back. General Su Jin herself was in the command center in Seoul, South Korea, coordinating everything. Her office had maps on every wall showing military positions around the world. She had color-coded each unit, each weapon system, each defense platform. Red showed areas that were fully prepared. Yellow showed areas still being readied. And she watched carefully for any yellow. There could be no yellow when Operation Merciless began. Meanwhile, Minister He Wan was preparing something equally important: the economic shutdown. She sat in her office with teams of financial experts, computer specialists, and economic analysts. They had created detailed plans for cutting off Earth's resources to the galaxy. They had identified every rare Earth element production facility, every agricultural export center, every technology manufacturing plant. When Operation Merciless began, Minister He Wan would have the power to stop every export. She would freeze the financial systems of any alien species that tried to oppose Earth. She would use economic pressure as effectively as any military weapon. The galaxy depended on Earth for materials it had taken for granted. In a matter of hours, all of that could end. "The plan is ready," she said to her team. "The moment we receive the signal, we begin the shutdown. Every resource that leaves Earth will stop immediately. Every technology that we have shared with the galaxy will become unavailable. I want to see the economic impact within the first hour. We need the Galaxy Council to understand that refusing Earth's demands will cost them trillions of credits." Ji Won, the diplomat who had suffered the humiliation at the Galaxy Council meeting, was also preparing. She had been sending encrypted messages to independent systems and oppressed colonies throughout the galaxy. She told them that something big was coming. She told them that Earth was about to do something that would change everything. She did not tell them exactly what, but she made it clear that the time of Earth's weakness was ending. The responses came back quickly. Many species had their own problems with the Galaxy Council. Many colonies had been exploited, just like Earth. When they heard that Earth was about to challenge the Council, they began preparing for their own responses. Some began positioning military forces, others started organizing economic resistance. It was as if Ji Won had lit a spark that was spreading across the galaxy. Dr. Min-Soo, the chief diplomat, had a different task. He was preparing Earth's statement, the message that would be broadcast to every corner of galactic space when Operation Merciless began. This statement had to be powerful. It had to make it clear that Earth was not acting out of aggression, but out of self-defense. It had to show that humans were intelligent, civilized, and capable of making careful decisions. Dr. Min-Soo worked late into the night, revising every word, checking every phrase. The statement had to be in multiple languages and formats that all the galaxy's different species could understand. It had to explain what humanity had done and why. It had to leave no room for doubt about Earth's position. Never again would humans accept humiliation or disrespect. In the Terran Embassy station orbiting near Earth, Ji-Wan was also making preparations. She had arranged secure communication lines with key figures in other governments and organizations throughout the galaxy. She had identified potential allies. She had studied the patterns of power and influence, understanding who might stand with Earth and who might stand against them. The hours before Operation Merciless ticked away. Across Earth and in space, military forces moved into final positions. Weapons were armed and made ready. Computer systems were tested and verified. Backup systems were checked and double-checked. President Da Jung held a final meeting with her closest advisors. "In 12 hours, Operation Merciless will begin," she said. "For 30 years, humanity has tried to enter the galaxy as supplicants, asking for acceptance, begging for respect. No more. In 12 hours, the galaxy will learn that humans are not a species to be dismissed. We will show them that we are their equals, and in many ways, their superiors. This is not about conquest. This is about respect. This is about Earth's right to exist as a free and independent world." Everyone in the room nodded. They understood the magnitude of what was about to happen. They understood that after Operation Merciless, nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same. Humanity would no longer be the weak species asking for help. Instead, Earth would be a force that every intelligent being in the galaxy would need to respect and fear. The countdown reached the final hours. All systems were ready. All forces were in position. All preparations were complete. The galaxy had no idea what was about to happen. In just a few more hours, the universe would be shocked by an act so bold, so powerful, and so perfectly calculated that it would echo across space for generations to come. At exactly 0400 GMT on the day of Operation Merciless, every military installation belonging to the Galaxy Council went dark at the same moment. The silence protocol activated across 17 different locations spread throughout the galaxy. What the aliens experienced was not an attack in the traditional sense. Instead, it was something far more terrifying. Complete silence, complete darkness, complete helplessness. Aboard the flagship of Counselor Vrak, alarms began screaming the moment the technology failed. Lights flickered and died, leaving only the faint glow of backup power systems that worked on mechanical springs and did not depend on computers. Vrak himself stood in the darkness of the command bridge, his green-scaled skin looking almost black in the dim light. "What is happening?" he roared. His voice was filled with rage and confusion. "Restore communications! Activate all backup systems! Send a distress signal!" But there was nothing to send. Every piece of technology more advanced than basic mechanical gears had been rendered useless by the silence protocol. The ships could not move, the weapons could not fire, the communications could not send or receive. An entire military force had been reduced to floating scrap metal in the void of space. Similar chaos erupted at all 17 council positions. Military commanders found themselves in complete darkness, blind to everything happening outside their ships. Weapon systems that had taken decades to build and perfect suddenly became nothing more than useless metal. The most advanced civilization in the galaxy was suddenly as helpless as it had been thousands of years ago, before technology had changed everything. For exactly 1 hour, the silence continued. In the war room beneath Denver Mountain, Captain Quan Ho watched the displays showing the perfect activation of every system. The silence protocol had worked exactly as Dr. Yunji had designed it. Every Galaxy Council military installation had been disabled simultaneously. For the first time in recorded history, Earth had revealed a power that no alien species had suspected. "All military forces, this is command," Quan Ho said into his communication device. "Maintain complete position. No weapons fire, no aggressive action. This is a message, not an invasion. Understood?" "Understood, sir," came the response from Admiral Park Jin, commanding the submarines. "All forces standing by." "Lunar base confirms. added Commander Park Jin. "All defense platforms armed and ready, but no aggressive actions authorized. Standing by for next order." General Su Jin was also in communication. "Ground forces deployed worldwide confirm ready status. All systems operational. Waiting for further orders." At exactly 1 hour after the silence protocol activation, as planned, every alien technology came back online at the same moment. Lights flickered back to life across 17 separate locations. Communication systems, weapons systems, navigation systems, everything restored itself automatically. But the message had been sent, and there was no way the Galaxy Council could ignore what had just happened. And at that exact moment, Dr. Minsu's prepared statement began broadcasting across every frequency that existed. The message played on alien communication channels, on human networks, on independent systems throughout the galaxy. Every species heard it, in their own language, in perfectly clear audio. "This is the official statement of Earth's government," Dr. Minsu's voice said. "For 30 years, humanity has sought peaceful integration into the galactic community. For 30 years, we have been ignored, disrespected, and treated as primitive. Today, the Galaxy Council declared Earth to be a resource colony, placing all of humanity's resources under Council control. This declaration is unacceptable. Today, humanity demonstrates that we are not primitive. Today, we show that we possess capabilities that rival and exceed those of any species in known space. We are not slaves. We are not children. We are equals. From this moment forward, Earth demands recognition as a free and independent civilization with full rights and protections. This was a demonstration only. No lives were taken. No permanent damage was caused. But let this moment be clear to all. Humanity is not to be humiliated. Humanity is not to be exploited. Humanity will be respected." The message repeated over and over in dozens of different languages. It played on every communication channel that existed. Every species in the galaxy heard it. Every individual understood it. In orbit around Earth, massive devices appeared on the displays of Galaxy Council ships. These devices were made by humans, built on the moon and in hidden locations throughout space. They were not weapons in the traditional sense, but something far more elegant. They were demonstration platforms, each one displaying a countdown timer. The message was simple and clear. This is how close the Council came to experiencing real power. These devices served as a constant reminder that humans had chosen to hold back. They had chosen not to destroy. They had chosen to send a message. Counselor Vrak stood in the observation deck of his ship, looking out at the demonstration platform hovering nearby. His expression was a mixture of shock and rage. He had spent decades believing that humanity was primitive, that humans were beneath the notice of civilized species. And now, in a single moment, everything had changed. The humans had proven that they were not primitive at all. Throughout the galaxy, reactions were immediate and severe. Some alien species called for immediate military response against Earth. Others demanded that the Galaxy Council negotiate. Independent colonies that had sent messages to G1 began mobilizing their own forces, preparing to support Earth if necessary. The Vex Collective's leader, Zexitar, called an emergency meeting. The creature's shimmer seemed agitated as he addressed his council. "The humans have nuclear-level technology. How is this possible? How did they hide this from our sensors?" One of his scientists explained, "The technology they demonstrated is not nuclear in nature. It appears to be based on quantum mechanics and gravitational manipulation. It is far more advanced than nuclear weapons. It is beyond our current theoretical understanding." This knowledge spread quickly through the galaxy. The realization that Earth possessed technology that was not just equivalent to the Galaxy Council's technology, but potentially superior, changed everything. The humiliation the Council had tried to inflict on Earth suddenly reversed itself. Now it was the Council that felt humiliated, caught completely unprepared by a species they had dismissed as primitive. President Da Jung watched the displays in her office, seeing the reactions from different alien governments. Some were angry, some were confused, but they were all paying attention now. No one could ignore Earth anymore. Minister He Wan prepared to implement the economic shutdown, but she waited. She wanted to see how the Galaxy Council would respond first. The time for economic warfare could come, but perhaps the demonstration had already sent a strong enough message. G1, in the Terran Embassy Station, received messages from dozens of different species. Some wanted to form alliances with Earth. Some wanted to understand how humans had developed such advanced technology. Some wanted to negotiate. All of them had the same underlying theme: respect for what humans had just demonstrated. The Galaxy Council was in complete chaos. They called emergency session after emergency session, trying to figure out how to respond to what humanity had done. Some wanted to declare war on Earth. Others wanted to negotiate. A few even suggested that Earth should be accepted into the Council with full membership. And throughout all of this, the countdown devices orbited peacefully in space above Council installations, reminding everyone that humans had the power to do much more if they chose to. They were beautiful in their way, these devices, not weapons that killed, but demonstrations that power could be elegant and precise. The galaxy had expected Earth to remain weak and powerless. Instead, humanity had revealed itself to be something the Council had never imagined: intelligent, prepared, organized, and more technologically advanced than anyone had suspected. In the command center beneath Denver Mountain, Quan Ho received reports from all over the galaxy. Every demonstration platform was functioning perfectly. Every broadcast of Dr. Min Su's message had reached its target. Operation Merciless was proceeding exactly as planned. The next phase would begin soon: negotiation. But this time, Earth would negotiate from a position of absolute strength. This time, the humans would demand respect and accept nothing less. The Galaxy Council collapsed into absolute chaos following Operation Merciless. Military commanders demanded that Earth be destroyed immediately. Economic experts calculated the catastrophic cost of losing Earth's resources. Scientists desperately tried to understand how humanity had developed technology that was seemingly impossible. And political leaders argued endlessly about what the Council's response should be. Councillor Vrak called for an immediate military strike against Earth, but his authority had suddenly weakened. How could he order an attack on a species that had just demonstrated the ability to disable all Council forces simultaneously? Other Council members openly questioned how they had been so blind to human capabilities. The arrogance that had defined the Council for centuries was crumbling under the weight of what humans had revealed. Behind the scenes, something even more powerful was happening. Dr. Yoon-ji had released subtle cyber warfare programs into the Council's computer networks. These programs did not destroy anything. Instead, they quietly corrupted data that the Council had relied on for years. Strategic databases became unreliable. Communication records showed strange gaps. Military coordination systems experienced mysterious delays. The humans had not just disabled the Council's technology once. They had infected it with problems that would take months or years to fully repair. When the Krell Dominion's military commanders tried to coordinate a response attack against Earth, their commands did not reach their forces in time. When the Vex Collective tried to organize an alliance against humans, their communication systems failed. The Andromedans found that their records of Earth's location and defenses had been altered. Everything that the Council tried to do was subtly hindered by technology that was invisible but undeniable. Minister Haewon implemented economic measures at exactly the right moment. She announced that Earth would no longer export any resources to the Galaxy Council or any species that supported the Council. Immediately, the price of rare Earth elements tripled on galactic markets. Agricultural products from Earth disappeared from supply chains. Advanced computer components that dozens of alien industries depended on became unavailable. The economic impact was devastating. Species that had expected these resources began facing shortages. Technologies that required Earth's materials suddenly became impossible to produce. The entire galactic economy shuddered under the impact of Earth's withdrawal. What had seemed like a minor source of resources became revealed as absolutely essential to the functioning of the entire civilization. Counselor Thex of the Andromedans called for an emergency negotiation session. He was older than Vrak, with centuries of experience managing intergalactic politics. Thex understood something that the younger Krell commander did not. Humans had just proved they were willing to use power in intelligent and sophisticated ways. They had not destroyed anything. They had not killed anyone. But they had completely reversed the power balance through sheer technological and strategic superiority. "We should negotiate," Thex said to the Council. "The humans have demonstrated that they possess capabilities we cannot match. We have two choices. We can continue to resist and face economic destruction and potentially military destruction, or we can negotiate and accept their demands." Vrak refused to accept this. "Negotiate with primitives?" he roared. "Never! We will organize a full military response. We will—" But Thex interrupted him. "Counselor Vrak, I am calling for a vote to remove your authority during this crisis. I believe your judgment has been compromised by your pride. All in favor of removing Vrak from active command." The vote was almost unanimous. Only 2 other council members supported Vrak. The rest voted to strip him of authority and place command authority with Thex and a council of other experienced leaders. Vrak's career on the Galaxy Council was effectively over. In trying to humiliate Earth, he had instead humiliated himself and lost his position of power. Thex reached out to Earth through secure channels. "We request negotiation," the message said. "We seek to understand your terms and reach an agreement that does not lead to further conflict. We are prepared to discuss full membership in the Galaxy Council for Earth, with all the rights and protections that status provides." President Da Jung received this message in her office and smiled slightly. Operation Merciless had worked perfectly. Humanity had not needed to destroy anyone or anything to change the outcome. Instead, humans had used intelligence, preparation, and technology to completely reverse the power dynamic. "Schedule the negotiation," she told her advisors, "but inform them that we have specific demands that are non-negotiable. First, full and immediate membership in the Galaxy Council with permanent voting rights. Second, reparations for today's humiliation to be paid by the Council collectively. Third, a formal recorded apology from the Council to be broadcast throughout galactic space." Dr. Min-Su was assigned to lead the negotiation team. He prepared carefully, understanding that this was one of the most important moments in human history. When he entered the negotiation chamber, the dynamic was completely different from the previous meeting. Now, human representatives were treated with respect. Now, they were listened to. Now, their words mattered. "Earth demands full membership in the Galaxy Council," Dr. Min-Su stated. "We demand voting rights equal to any other species. We demand representation on all council committees. We demand reparations for the humiliation we have suffered. And we demand that all decisions declaring Earth a resource colony be immediately reversed and permanently expunged from all official records." Counselor Thex nodded. "These terms are acceptable," he said. "We will also offer something additional. We will establish a new position, Chair of Security and Defense. This position will give Earth a major voice in determining the Council's military and technological policies. We offer this position to Captain Quan Ho, the commander of Earth's military forces." The negotiations continued for 2 days. By the end of that time, Earth had achieved everything it had demanded and more. Full membership in the Galaxy Council, voting rights and representation, 2 trillion credits in reparations, an official apology, and a permanent position on the Council's highest-level security committee. But the most important victory was not written into any agreement. It was the simple fact that the galaxy had been forced to recognize Earth as an equal. The age of human submission had ended. From this moment forward, every species in the galaxy would know that humans were intelligent, powerful, and dangerous. And they would treat humans with respect. As Dr. Min-Su left the negotiation chamber, he thought about Ji-Wan and all the years she had spent trying to gain acceptance for Earth through peaceful means. That journey had failed because the Galaxy Council did not respect peace. But when humans demonstrated power, everything changed. The universe, it seemed, understood only the language of strength. Throughout the galaxy, the message was clear. Earth had arrived, humanity was here, and nothing in space would ever be the same again. The countdown devices that orbited Council installations were removed peacefully. They were brought to Earth and placed in museums as reminders of the moment when humanity stood up and refused to be humiliated. Young aliens from many different species came to see these devices, to understand how humans had managed to reverse their fortune so completely. And when they looked at these machines, they did not see weapons. They saw evidence of human intelligence, human courage, and human refusal to accept injustice. They saw proof that sometimes the greatest victory is not won through destruction, but through careful planning, superior technology, and the will to use power precisely and wisely. President Da Jung watched as human representatives took their places among the Galaxy Council for the first time as equals. She saw Quan Ho accept his position as chair of security and defense. She heard the formal apology from the Council, broadcast across every channel in the galaxy, and she understood that this moment represented something far greater than a simple negotiation victory. It represented the beginning of a new era, an era where humans would no longer be treated as primitives or children or property. It represented the triumph of intelligence over ignorance, of preparation over arrogance, and of justice over exploitation. Earth had spoken, the galaxy had listened, and nothing would ever be the same.